Gate 14 podcast. We are back. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked to you guys, man. I mean, we've just been firing out interviews and stuff like that. So it's good to be back. I've been reading the comment sections, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you guys swear too much." Wah, wah. Shut the fuck up. That's how we talk in here. That's how I've always talked. That's how I grew up. So if you don't like it, unfortunately, Gate 14 is not for you. But Avery, how are you doing, man? I mean, like I said, we haven't talked to the people in a really long time here. A lot of good news coming up.
Yeah, good. Good to finally talk about a transaction for what seems like the first time in a very long time. For someone to get us the actual date on that, but we were asking for transactions about this time a month ago. Really big on transactions, and it came crashing down on us. But now we get another one. Wasn't the international prospect we were hoping for at the start of this offseason, but we got one. We got our guy.
Yeah, we got our guy. And listen, this is my thing, Avery. It's like everyone's complaining about the pitching and all this and all that. Like, you can never have too many good pitchers, right?
Nope.
You can never have too many good pitchers on a ball club. So I'm not mad about it. I'm fine with it. It's just it's a bad balance. It's not a power bat, which is going to put asses in seats for this podcast.
Yeah, but we still they're not out on that yet. I think it's kind of how just this offseason has gone. What power bats are off the market that have started on the market that aren't Shohei Ohtani? Obviously, there's some, but the ones that are short-term contracts that you're hoping will put up good way to run creative plus numbers, will hit the home runs, are still kind of available. So Ross isn't sleeping. He is making things happen as we go right now. They're still available. I'm not worried about it. If Ross is going to tell us not to be worried, he'll get another bat. It's not going to be as huge of an impact as we hope. I'm starting to dwindle down on the thought of a trade coming in here soon, a big one, as we get closer and closer to spring training. But he is making transactions, and we get a Cuban right-handed pitcher that a lot of people are saying is the next Ross Stripling. And I think we already have the next Ross Stripling already in the Blue Jays pen in Bowden Francis. Yariel Rodriguez, Y-Rod. We'll just call him that from now on, because I don't know how to say his first name completely right. A former NPB pitcher, Chinichi Dragons, I believe is who he played for. Did not play baseball last year, but we did see him play in the World Baseball Classic. 2 separate starts. He started against the Netherlands. They ended up losing that game. I remember I had a bet on that. That ended up losing. Then he faced Australia. I don't see too much from either of that. Like, the Netherlands had some good players, and he pitched really well that first game. And then Australia walked the bases loaded at one point. Still a decent outing as well. But his numbers he put up in Japan were fantastic once he got moved to the bullpen. So where I'm at with Yariel Rodriguez is he is a failed starter in a league worse than Major League Baseball. Yes, correct. He had an uptick in velocity of about 4 miles an hour once he went to the bullpen, and he became dominant. I think this team, we saw last year how lucky this baseball team was to have healthy starting pitching.
Yeah.
The whole season. Who do you have? Zach Thompson, who was in AAA. That was the next one up.
People forget Drew Hutchinson was a depth piece for this team at one point.
Exactly. We got so lucky. And now there is 3 guys who they have kind of waiting in the wings to do the same deal. One of them is more expensive than all the other ones in Y-Rod for sure. Based on the terms, you got 4 for 32, I believe. Is that
80
what
year? Yeah, 80 year.
Okay, 4 for 32. He can be stretched out. Bowden Francis can be stretched out. Mitch White can be stretched out. There is 3 people who can kind of help you in the same similar role at the big league level, but that's also major league starting pitching depth that they didn't have last year. YJ's brought up a great point. They needed Ryu when everyone went to shit, kind of got tired, especially when when they said Manoa's done, we can't play him anymore. They had Ryu to come back. Now they kind of have 3 guys in the similar boat who are kind of doing that. So I think the starting pitching depth has really shaped out, which is something I think a lot of people are worried about, because it is awesome to be as healthy as they were last year. I think you're crazy if you think they'll be as healthy again this year. Freak things are bound to happen, which sucks. Knock on wood. I hope they don't, but you have to be ready for it. And I think doing this for Ross is a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in my opinion, and this is a crazy take, I think, but I have him behind Bowden Francis on the depth chart, man. I mean, you brought this up to me yesterday. Bowden Francis had the lowest ERA in out of all rookies in baseball last year. A sub 2, I believe a sub 1.7, actually, if you want to get exact here. But I don't understand why they would talk about or even try to make him a starter if he was a failed starter in a league that has shown that it is not as superior offensively and numbers are very skewed in comparison to Major League Baseball. I think he makes the most sense being slotting in that Jordan Hicks maybe reliever role or something along those lines, because he throws gas, this dude, right?
Yeah. Like, so I was not a bad idea, Johnny, for sure. So I looked at his Baseball Savant page StatCast from that start he had against the Netherlands. He got it up to 98.4. But the thing about his fastball is the metrics don't love his fastball. He is a big time slider guy, and his slider projects really well based on the Stuff Plus metrics. So we'll look here from this is an MPB Twitter account that always has great stuff. They would always chirp Trevor Bauer as well. So 2022, he threw a slider nearly a third of the time, and it was worth an MPB best plus 4.8 runs per 100 pitches. So he threw the best slider in Japanese baseball in 2022. Career ERA was 3.79 as a starter, 1.61 as a reliever. His fastball went 91 to 94 as a starter to 95 to 98 in the pen. He is a slider merchant, and it graded out as a Stuff Plus, where 100 is average on a pitch, 128 Stuff Plus model on his slider. The slider's a great pitch. And from what he threw in the World Baseball Classic, he was a 2-pitch guy. 4-seam fastball, slider. He threw 66 pitches in this start. He threw 3 changeups, 1 unknown pitch. So I think he should bring more.
I like a mystery pitch.
I was about to say, I think he should bring some more unknown pitches. I think they just couldn't grade that properly. But I think if he brings the unknown pitch, the repertoire here doesn't show as a big league guy. 2-pitch mix. He's not Kevin Gausman. One of them's a slider as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I do trust this pitching staff. Sorry, not the pitching staff, but the development of pitching with Pete and everyone they have in the system. So it's not a finished product. This is a young guy as well, where you didn't pay a posting fee. You didn't pay a ton of money to get someone from Japanese baseball over here. I love the thought of it. Again, 4-year deal is interesting, but the rotation's filled for this year so far. So someone else on Twitter said, I see 1,000 million tweets a day. I never remember who tweet them, but they say the 4th year, because it seemed more to be a 3-year deal, right? And one of the things for him was he wanted to be a starter. The opportunity to start this year was not an opportunity to start in Toronto. Going into camp, you're going to see 5, 6 guys ahead of you for those 5 rotation spots, I believe. So I think they did the 4th year. Hey, let's get you ready. Major League Baseball level, maybe some AAA as well as a starter, get you accustomed to life in the major leagues. And then next year you have your shot at the 5th rotation spot. So little gap year. You're going to make the money while you're in the minors anyways, I believe. So
yeah, he will.
Of course. So I don't think it really matters. He wants to start, give him the chance to. Gap year, 4-year deal. I think he's kind of living. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with his pitch mix as he gets over here. But I'm very interested to see. The arm works really well in the pen with that velo. So I will be.
I just don't get why you force a starter on that guy though. Like, I don't know why you would force him to be a starter when, obviously, I mean, if I'm Bowden Francis and I am not given a true shot to be a starter on this year's baseball team, I'm kind of mad, dude. Like, fucking, if Manoah sucks, which we're uncertain with that guy, Bowden Francis has earned the right to be the 5 guy. Like, that's very clear. He should be the 5 guy, right?
Yeah, he's got to be one of the guys in the mix too. You have Ricky Tiedemann hot on the heels. I don't think he's going to make it out of camp. But Bowden's done everything they've asked, it seems. So, except they didn't give him a shot to start. I think he goes into camp, try and stretch him out as well. If you have a lot of guys stretched out and they end up being a reliever, I don't think that's bad at all. The only bad thing is you push them to be a reliever, someone gets hurt, now you stretch them out. It's 3 inning starts.
And he talked about it's 2 completely different things. Preparation
100%.
for games And let's look at the fan graphs here. Paul Ross just sent in our group chat for Yariel, or Y-Rod, we'll call him, like Avery said. He's projected by Fangraphs to have 105 innings pitched and have a 4.65 ERA, 4.72 FIP, and a 0.7 WAR. So Fangraphs hates him.
Fangraphs doesn't like that he didn't play baseball last year.
Yeah, Fangraphs hates him. Yeah, they're not fans of Yariel, but I mean, watching.
I don't
videos,
think he's
awesome.
going to be a huge impact piece this year.
Okay, hear me out. But watching him looks awesome. Watching his highlights, but he has faced the Netherlands and Australia in these highlights of him that we have in a year. No disrespect to Australia.
Xander Bogart strikes out in one of those clips.
Okay, now you're starting to persuade me a little bit more. I want to see him. I think they're going to start him in AAA, right? Unless he just blows everyone out of the water in spring training.
Yeah,
like it just looks like prime Cy Young in spring training.
Yeah, I don't think this is the year he's a huge impact piece, and I don't think they're slotting him in to be a huge impact piece this year.
Yeah, so, for sure. I'm excited to see what he does. I really am. I mean, last year we had depth, but like we had no depth. I mean, like you mentioned, we had Zach Thompson or whatever. Like I said, I don't know what his name is, and Drew Hutchinson, and the glimpse that we had of potentially Ricky T when he was pitching in AAA, where we were like, maybe he can get called up a little bit here for the end. But yeah, it's Ross Stripling, by the way, not talked about enough, an unsung hero here in Toronto, especially in 2022. He rocked. He was such a massive part of this team, and he was the reason why that team made the playoffs. So anytime you mention a guy and a name like in the same group and category of Ross Stripling, I'm all in on it, because Ross Stripling always has a place in my heart, with especially how good he was here when they had to transform him into a starter. And it goes to show you the pitching lab that Pete Walker and how good he is at adjusting and like making adjustments and working with pitchers. And every single guy I've talked to, Bassett, Bowden, everyone talks about how good Pete Walker is. So they're clearly doing something right here, and I trust Pete Walker with any single pitcher that comes over here.
Yeah, excited. Glad we got a transaction. We didn't get cucked on that one.
Yeah, we need a bat, man. I mean, I'm done with the pitching stuff. I really am. I can't get up for pitching anymore. We have enough. Just give me a bat. And Avery, what do you think happens here, man?
Based on what?
Like, what do you think happens next? Is it a bat that everyone's talking about? And for other people in our comments section, talking about Ross this, Ross that. Listen, there's still everyone on the board. Every team is being slow. Every team is broke boys right now.
Yeah, no team has TV deals.
No, besides our Rogers Blue Jays baseball boys. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird thing. I'd love to do another pod within the next 5 days about a transaction. I really would. Yeah, I really would.
No one who we are on caliber for signing is being really moved right now. So I think we'll be one of the first movers when that comes, but we just got to see people who want to spend money.
I will say this though, Avery. I will say this. I have been maybe I'm just getting YJ's pilled. I might be out on Soler, and I could not be more all in on Rhys Hoskins. I know Rhys Hoskins coming back off an ACL injury. If you look at Rhys Hoskins' numbers, let's take a deep dive, Avery, because I think you were the one that showed me these numbers. Rhys Hoskins, should I go to Fangraphs or MLB?
Fangraphs, of course.
Well, my computer's just taking an hour to load, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Rhys Hoskins does it for me, man. And this is a guy that can slot into a Brandon Belt role kind of similar, if not better. I mean, Rhys Hoskins is younger, obviously, than Brandon Belt. Rhys Hoskins has put up really good numbers in his career in terms of just power numbers. And honestly, he hit 30 bombs for that ACL injury. 30 bombs, 79 RBIs, 246 average, 794 OPS. The OPS could use some work a little bit, but this is a guy for me that makes more sense due to the fact that he could kind of piggyback behind Vladdy and play first base when Vladdy's being a lazy fuck, right?
Yeah, the thing about Rhys Hoskins, he's going to walk a little bit. He's going to strike out
a significant amount,
a fourth of his
amount.
at-bats.
Yeah.
And he's going to hit home runs. He's going to slug it a little bit. Weighted runs created plus hasn't been below 120 since 2014.
See, that intrigues me. I think that is 1A for me. Would that be 1A for you, Avery? Rhys Hoskins? I think that has to be 1A for me.
I'm done talking myself into people that I want right now. Just get me to opening day with a guy on the team, and I'll decide if I want to cheer for him or not. And I think I'll cheer for him, no problem.
Yeah.
I love Jock Peterson.
Oh my God, I forgot about him.
I don't want to look at. I'm not like I don't look at his stats. I genuinely love watching Jock Peterson hit home runs for other teams, and I would like him to do that for my baseball team.
Yeah, and me and Bassett had we're just chilling on Fortnite, and you just like look up these Jock Peterson home runs against me, and he got his money's worth on these home runs, Jock Peterson off of Bassett.
Give Champ Peterson a role in the front office.
Yeah, Champ Peterson forever. Champ fucking Peterson forever, man.
Yep.
But lastly, Avery, let's go into some house cleaning stuff here. Or is that house cleaning? I got roasted by my friend last time I said house cleaning. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're house cleaning stuff here. Potentially, fuck it. I know I told everyone I was going to talk about this. There is massive news next week in Gate 14 history.
As long as it happens, it is the biggest.
It's happening. It's happening. This has potential to be the biggest news in the history of this podcast. I'm fine with saying that. Another thing, spring training's booked. We're locked in, everyone. Landing March 1st. Our flight got pushed earlier, 45 minutes, 7 a.m. flight. I'm not, I would say, pumped about that. But we're going to be in Florida earlier. It means we're going to be arriving at 10 o'clock. Me, Avery, Alto, Curtis, and Avery's brother will be locked in. Avery's brother's a camera guy. Yeah. Evan will be walking around camera guy. I'm excited for it, man. The Airbnb rocks. We're doing a Gate 14 sleepover with Schneider and Ernie. It's gonna rock. I think we have to get a picture of us, all of us four in one bed. Like it's a joke, just like Gate 14 sleepover. This Airbnb's gonna rock. I am so excited. I've never ever been to spring training.
Me either. I've never been to spring training either.
So I think with the access and with the amount of people we've obviously become close with on this team, we're going to have some pretty cool experiences here with this. And I'm excited for it. So
Gate 14 does spring training vlog is going to be awesome again.
Oh my God. Especially with Curtis and Alto in the mix. Yeah. So there you have it, folks. I mean, not the biggest signing in the world, not a needle mover for most, but a signing happened. Ross woke up and he's cooking. And hopefully next time we talk to you guys, it's Jock Peterson or Rhys Hoskins. Fuck it. Let's make a move here. And like I said, next week, there potentially might not be an episode Sunday night. We might be doing a special drop Tuesday for the people. So Tuesday or Wednesday. So stay tuned. Love you guys. Avery, any last words? Gate 14 Awards update. Maybe in the next couple of weeks it'll be out, but electric stuff here. We got a big couple of weeks here coming up for the brand.
Absolutely. Love you guys.
Love you guys.